Fuck going on, chat? Fuck going on, chat? A little sip of the latte before we get going. Nothing quite like I almost said cafe. I don't know why I said that. Nothing quite like a midday coffee. If you are a reoccurring viewer to the channel, hello and welcome back. If you are new to the channel, good to see you. Let's just get straight into it. So I'm going to go over the trade that I took today, but I think first thing to talk about is P&L. I think P&L is the most important part if you are following me for trading content because you need to ensure profitability. Our balances are now at $2,100 per account. Again, we took a $1,500 payout. So we're now up about $500 on our rebuy, if you will. Kind of like the way I'm looking at it is I'm just building my buffer more and more and more. I risked 500 today because that was, or I was going into the day thinking I was going to risk 500 because that would be a third of my account. And then tomorrow I'll risk again between 500 and 700. And then we're just going to continue risking more and more and more until we're taking bigger payouts. Win rate, 60%. Profit factor, 1.7. That means my average RR is 1.7. I'm going to talk about this. I don't think this number is correct at all. At all. Because I have not taken 132 trades. This has to do with lot sizing. And if we look at how profitable I actually am, we have one real losing day out of all the days on this account. This was basically a break-even day. Again, it's also because I take so many contracts when I go, but it's not really the point. I've had 1, 2, 3 break-even days, 1, 2, 3, 6 days where I was actually profitable, and 1 day where I actually lost. So if I look at my win rate right now for the month, I'm actually looking at it more like I have an 86% win rate. Again, do with that information what you will. I guess you could say that's my daily win rate. Would be a little bit different though. Technically, we are 6 and 3. Motherfucker, you better behave. 6 and 3 and 1. 6 winning days, 3 break-even days, and 1 losing day is how I'm looking at it. But enough dilly-dally about, yes, let's make sure that I make money. Yeah, let's get into it. So let's start from the top down. 4 hour, if you think this is anything but bullish, you're tripping. We closed over these highs and then displaced over the highs. So that tells me that we have had a market structure shift. We actually technically had a market structure shift when we displaced above these highs here. We also have a pretty clean change in the state of delivery, and we just continue delivering higher with price. So my 4 hour is very bullish. Again, keep in mind when I'm looking at the charts, I'm seeing only up to here. And then when I dropped down into the 1 hour, this is where things got a little bit interesting. If you remember me on Sunday, I said that I want to see an expansion move higher. So coming into the market, today's the 15th. The expansion move higher I wanted to see towards all-time highs took place overnight, which really sucks. I would love to have seen this move happen during New York session. But when we sweep all-time highs like this, I can see price going shorter, going lower. And we actually did end up displacing through some of these lows, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. I took 2 trades today. Technically, I'll zoom in so you can see my executions. I guess technically 3 if you count partials, but I did take a short today. I ended up breaking even on it. If you look, I actually can't see exactly where it happened. Whatever, screenshot. Actually, I'll do it this way. If you want to hold me accountable and you think I'm a fraud, just look at where I bought and sold. This trade makes it look like I bought in somewhere in this candle and I dipped somewhere in this candle. I just thought it was a little bit of a silly trade. The reason for me taking a short, let's talk about that. So on the 15-minute, we had a clean change in the state of delivery. And then we also, if we look on the 1 hour, we're displacing through lows, right? So if we look at these lows right here, we were seeing displacement through these lows. But the reason I ended up opting out of that trade is because, one, we were inside of this higher time frame BISI, again, right here. I think it was actually a 4 hour I was looking at. Maybe. No. Yeah, it was this 1 hour. These two fair value gaps, again, when you see fair value gaps connected like this, you stack them together. We were inside of this higher time frame, buy side inefficiency, or buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So I just felt like I was chasing price here. It wasn't that I was getting FOMO necessarily, but after spending a little bit of time in drawdown, I was like, you know what? The move is clearly going to be going long. So I bailed on my short position, and I waited to see my textbook entry model for going long because my bias going into the day was long. So let me pull up ES really quick. Okay, suck me. So if we look at ES, where are the lows I need to keep in mind? I think it's potentially these lows. No, it was hourly lows, excuse me. So if we look at the hourly chart, actually, I don't know if it's going to still be here because of the fact maybe it got invalidated. No, it did not. Okay. So if we look at the S&P, we are also inside of this higher time frame fair value gap. NASDAQ or ES takes out these midnight lows. ES or NASDAQ what? NASDAQ fails to do so. So NASDAQ fails to take out these lows. We are also inside of a higher time frame PD array. And what's that telling me? I don't think we want to displace lower. Now, of course, in the grand scheme of things, we do end up displacing lower, but look at what happens before we displace. So I actually dropped down into the 15 second. You heard me right. I dropped down into the 15 second. This is something I do pretty frequently when I'm trying to catch reversals. And the SMT got put in around this point right here. So at first, I wanted to see us displace through these highs, right? We did not. I wanted to see us get a clean inversion of this fair value gap and disrespect these highs. We didn't see that. We saw some accumulation. And then I'm a little bit too lazy to pull up this on ES right now, but we actually put in one more SMT, which told me that, yes, price is manipulating. We had an external SMT and an internal SMT. And then what do we see? Displacement through these highs, inversion of a 15-second fair value gap. And I waited for just a little bit more confirmation. We get a big breakaway gap on the 1 minute and on the 2 minute. Again, a breakaway gap means that this is not revisited for the move up. So I entered here. My stops were below the breakaway gap, perhaps on the 2 minutes. Yes, my stops were below the gap on the 2 minute breakaway gap. And then I just followed this move up. I ended up on this trade. This is so annoying. I wish it would just stay where I want it to. So I took half of my position off once we swept these highs. I ended up taking it off more so around right here, however. So I took half of my position off at this point and then moved my stop back on the 2 minute. This is going to be so annoying. And then I moved my stop losses below the body of this fair value gap right here. So all in all, I risked 250 on this trade. And I profited 567. I think I risked about 200 on this trade. Does that make sense? Does the math add up there? 4R times 100 would be 400. And then the other 100 would have gotten me 150. Yeah, so I risked about $200 on this trade. And again, if you think I'm a fraud or something like that, my Snapchat and my Instagram is in the description below. I post all of my live executions as I'm taking them on my Snapchat and on my Instagram. It's the closest thing you're getting to a Discord right now. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show you today. This was pretty textbook, I want to say. This is kind of my bread and butter when it comes to trading. We had a higher time frame manipulation of lows. We had an internal manipulation of the lows. We had a clear break of structure, change in the state of delivery, inverse to fair value gap, and did that all inside of a higher time frame PD array with a clear draw on liquidity. Now, for the record, this was the initial move that I wanted to catch. I wanted to see price take out these highs and potentially push up to the 2130s or the 23230s, excuse me. So this was the full move, and then I eventually moved my stop losses again to about a 1.5R in the profit. But yeah, that's all for now. We are going live at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time to do some back testing. Hopefully, I'll see you there. Where's my button to stop recording? Hopefully I'll see you there.